Kayfabe was a way to show respect to the audience and respect your own business. It was a way to protect you.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, we are the generation that you make your rules and we will.
Ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart marks. I am Mr. Richie Moon.
And I'm Kayfabe AJ.
And this is the Kayfabe Livecast.
The podcast.
Or is it the Kayfabe Podcast?
Or is it Livecast? That's the podcast.
Yeah, man. You know how we do. You know how we do. And in case you get lost on your way over to Kayfabe Livecast, or is the Kayfabe Live Podcast, we have a special person to tell you where it's at.
Well, it's down at the end of Jabroni Drive.
That just never gets old. It never gets old. AJ, what are you talking about tonight?
Well, we got a couple wrestling rumors, a couple of wrestling news. Mainly, we're going to go over this Crown Jewel pay-per-view.
I'm sorry, I think I'm just going to laugh every time you say it.
I mean, this shit makes me depressed. Coming off of an Evolution pay-per-view where it was damn near flawless, to go to this spectacle of a pay-per-view that's supposed to be, well, it's not supposed to be, but it's at the scale of WrestleMania production value-wise.
You know, you made the comeback. We've had a comeback for Crown Jewel. Pyro.
Just as a preview to what I'm going to say as far as this whole pay-per-view.
You're going to hear me laughing a lot during this because how furious AJ
I'm pissed. And that's what I've been asking myself since the moment the pay-per-view ended. Who the hell is booking this crap? I want to know who exactly in creative came up with the decision for the tournament, the whole way it went down, the ending, everything.
But you have to say the name of it. You just can't say it's the Crown Jewel tournament to determine the best in the world. They shoved that down.
Or the best who's there at the moment.
Oh my
I guess.
Gosh. Okay. Well, before we go into the Crown Jewel, I can't even say it without laughing.
Listen, I have my Red Foreman quotes on deck, and this is how I feel about the creative.
Dumbass, you dumbass. You're a dumbass. Such a dumbass. You're an ass.
Maybe they just need to be.
Someone back there was like, "Oh my God, we did so great with Evolution. The women did so great. Let's just take 100 steps back. let's just fuck Raw up. It's been on a roll. Let's fuck Raw up. Let's not even care about this tournament. Let's just make this tournament fail."
But before we get there,
I feel like this was the heel pay-per-view. Like
heel pay-per-view.
This was the pay-per-view that was like, let's piss everybody the fuck off.
Now you know what happened. I'm gonna let AJ know. I'm gonna let everybody know I was listening. A little insider secret that I got about Crown Jewel. Vince was running it, but it wasn't Vince McMahon.
Vince Russo?
Vince Russo
Shit.
came back and ran it. I mean, it has to be. It has to be.
There was no contract on a pole match, so
maybe
I would have rathered a goddamn contract on a pole match or something like this.
I was gonna say a dirty joke. It wasn't really gonna be a dirty joke. It was gonna kind of be the messed up joke, but I don't think I need to take it there. But before we get into Crown Jewel and all that, let's start off with a positive note. Let's start off with some good stuff. Let's step outside of the WWE universe.
I need a vacation from the WWE universe right now.
Well, I mean, let's start off with stuff outside of the WWE universe, but this is kind of sad news. So apparently, Cody was on a Q&A on Twitter, and a fan asked him, "Will you be at the G1 Supercard?" And he said no.
Not only that, he swore to God that
like the Cruise Jericho, he's not going to WWE.
He swore to God to the fans that he wasn't going to WWE. So this leads me back to my other theory, which is the Elite have something up their sleeve as far as another promotion. Maybe they're going to have the All In brand become something else. There's rumors of 2 shows happening in 2019. So they're working now. Whether they're gonna be working for somebody or they're gonna be working for themselves, that's what's yet to be seen.
It's
I
hard.
still hold the possibility in the back of my mind that maybe they were hinting too much to a WWE run, so maybe they're swerving super hard.
It's hard for me.
It's back a lot of back and forth on both ends. There's evidence backing both sides of this.
I agree with that
story.
until the last episode of Being the Elite, where this has been a concern of Cody's for a while, and he spoke about this for a long time. Actually, the healthcare thing. If they joke about it and they say it in a very joking way and a not
That means
independent
they're dead
contractors,
serious.
yeah, but they're dead serious about that, and I think that's a really big factor with them not going to the E. That and of course creative, but I think that's a really big factor with them not going to WWE is the whole independent contractor, no healthcare thing. I mean, as we said, if you get injured in WWE, you're gonna go see the best doctors because they want you back ASAP. But that isn't obviously an issue. Maybe as
But
fans,
things like colds and medication and things that are not surgery related, there's no healthcare for that.
it's true. This is very
So
very
although
true.
they have the best care as far as surgery procedures and stuff like that, and rehab, what are they really doing for their stars? They keep hanging on to that independent contractor thing, which is kind of a little, not fair. It's like a loophole to not protect your stars.
That's a weird thing.
But then again, is healthcare in wrestling something that's commonplace? I don't think any company really has a solid healthcare for their wrestlers.
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Something
I know
worth
that.
looking up.
Yeah,
Because we can't always look at WWE and say, "Hey, you're the big bad guy. You're the big bad wolf."
absolutely.
It's all if this is something that needs to change, it's something that has to change universally. It can't just be, "Hey, we need healthcare in WWE." What about New Japan? What about Ring of Honor? The little territories I understand because they're not on solid footing, but Impact Wrestling, which is backed by millionaires, and New Japan, a Ring of Honor, they can do it.
Yeah, and it's a big issue because they keep talking about it. They keep talking about. I mean, back 20 years ago, maybe even longer ago, Jesse Ventura was talking about healthcare for wrestlers. This is before he even got into all politics and all. When he was wrestling.
I think if he
was
would have
talking
actually
about-
gotten into that presidential run or that big step after being governor, I think Jesse could have probably done something to help change that landscape. But he never did. He never ended up actually running for president. So it is what it is.
we had a pretty big show going on this
Maybe
weekend.
Kane will be that one political person to actually change that landscape.
Maybe. We're gonna talk about Kane a little bit later.
Oh
Talk
God.
about the mayor of Knox County. We'll talk about good old Caney a little bit later, huh? Of course, call him Caney. Oh gosh. So we had a big show going on. We're actually watching the conclusion of the Super Junior Tag League's power struggle is coming to a conclusion tonight in New Japan Wrestling. We're in the middle of watching it, but from what we've seen so far, we've seen the OGs beat Chaos. The Golden Lovers went against David Finlay and Tanahashi in a really good ending. AJ kept trying to rewind it, but he kept trying to walk out the room for other things, so he missed it like 5 times.
I caught it. I caught the ending.
Yeah, man. It's going to be a good match with Tanahashi and Omega, man. It's going to be the clash of the
I
old
feel
school
like
and new school.
this whole pay-per-view has just been a big build-up pay-per-view as far as storyline. We had Jay White. He was tagging with who else from the Bullet Club?
He was it was Jay White and Bad Luck Fale versus Okada and Burn. What's the guy's name? Burn. I can't remember his name.
Well, it doesn't matter for the sake of what happened because it kind of just broke down in the end.
Basically, what
And-
happened is Jay White said at the end of the match, Okada, we can go at it anytime, any day you want. Okada said, "Well, what about right now?" And was assuming
Typical heel fashion.
yeah, he goes down like he's going to enter the ring and then he doesn't.
Yeah.
It's assuming that's going to set up a match between Okada and Jay White at Wrestle Kingdom. This is the first time.
No, that's definitely the direction they're going at this
Absolutely.
point.
Yeah, they haven't announced it yet.
Jay White is in all his Bullet Club glory at this point, looking like a mix of Finn Balor and
what do we call him? We call him Ken.
Omega.
We call him Finn Omega. No.
Omega Finn.
Yeah, Omega Finn.
Omega Balor.
Omega Balor. That's exactly what Jay White looks like. He definitely looks
I
like
think
that.
he still just needs a little bit more work as far as getting comfortable in the Bullet Club position.
Yeah, that and his wrestling. I'm not saying he's a really good wrestler, but as far as I've been watching wrestling long enough to know when a guy's in his prime. He's not in his prime quite yet, but when he gets there another year,
he's pretty much in the cleaner phase of his.
That's
run.
exactly what
He's in his cleaner phase.
That's a great analogy. That's a great analogy.
Give him another year.
Yeah,
I think he'll transition to that top leader of the club, or at least held as one of the best out the club.
I mean, they're basically already giving him the leadership without saying, because it's the cutthroat era. They're basically giving that to him, but he's not. He's just not fully. He's getting there. He's good. He's getting there. He's getting there. So what else we got on the radar? What else has been going on? So the Golden Lovers beat David Finlay and Tanahashi. Jericho versus Evil. We haven't seen that match yet because, like we said, we're still watching the event. But social media. So we know that Jericho wins, and it looked like it was a hard-hitting match because Jericho.
Jericho
pictures.
Came out bruised as hell.
Yeah.
Bruised on his thighs, bruised on his back.
I did see one gif from it, and man, he hit him with a cold breaker. Ooh, it looked like a stiff cold breaker. Just boom, put a lot of.
Was that
steak
the
on
spot they put online where he Evil goes for the clothesline, he ducks, rebounds off the rope, cold breaker?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely looks sick.
Just a stiff pow right in the kisser. I'm really excited about this. So it's not even a rumor, no innuendos. They're working on it. There's no date for when it's going to happen. Jay Lethal versus Johnny Impact, the Ring of Honor champion versus the Impact champion.
And it's title for title.
Title for title.
So at some point this year, we're definitely gonna have a dual brand champion, a dual promotion champion, and that's where all this all in. Cruiser Jericho, all this Bullet Club being in Ring of Honor, Bullet Club being in New Japan. This is where all this is leading to.
Yeah,
I feel like we're getting back to the big territory systems, and the Indies are like forcing that outside of WWE. They're building up their territory, the trust between each other, and sending their major stars. Cody just came from working with Aldis and NWA. It's just a lot of commingling between promotions, and it's great. It works, and in my eyes, if they do it right, these world titles can actually mean something more than just the champion of the promotion.
Yep.
It can actually mean a world title.
Absolutely.
Something like, the NWA title originally was.
I was a little
Or the
disappointed.
big gold belt.
I mean, I understand that the Cruiser Jericho that stuff was booked a long time ago. But I wish that Nick Aldis could have been on the Cruiser Jericho, because you had Rey Mysterio from WWE.
I think if they would have knew the impact of NWA 70, they would have probably foresaw to add a few NWA members.
Yeah, because the Cruiser Jericho it had the Impact champion, had the Ring of Honor champion, had an IWGP heavyweight champion. I mean, you have the three biggest wrestling companies outside of the WWE's right there. So this is good stuff. I hope the rumors and innuendos are true with JR and Jericho supposedly starting this wrestling company.
The funny thing coming out of the Cruiser Jericho, it makes WWE look even worse.
Yeah.
Because it's just embarrassing with the fact that these companies can all send stars to make something magic happen in wrestling,
No
and
egos.
WWE just wants to exclude it. Like, okay, you
They
can
wanna
have
be
you
their own
can have your
universe.
WWE universe, but let's not forget there's other universes out there.
They don't want to acknowledge it. They
You know,
don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to acknowledge it. This is almost kind of like in the MCU when they don't want to acknowledge the Netflix shows, but there's no defenders there. It's kind of like that. They're in their own MCU in the WWE universe, and that's it. That's
I
all,
think this
that's
is
all that happens.
along with everything that's going along with Crown Jewel. It's just gonna make WWE look even worse.
That wasn't an accident, people.
I mean, they're a bunch of dumbasses. They really they knocked all the energy and excitement that I had coming out of Evolution, and that's crazy. It's crazy to me.
Evolution was great. This was a great pay-per-view.
How do you book this pay-per-view for months? Now, this was the thing about Evolution. People bitching about the lack of build, and it became one of the most amazing pay-per-views of the year.
Still stand by that. Still lack of build, but I stand by that too.
We have all this build for Crown Jewel, and it was horrible.
Horrible.
But we'll get to that. Anything else?
It was amazing, but for all the wrong reasons. That is it as far as outside of the WWE. Now, ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart marks, we're gonna strap ourselves in to enter back into the WWE.
At some point, we're gonna find out.
Oh, we are gonna find out who's booking this crap. And matter of fact, you know what happens when you have one of your best shows on the weekend? You have one of your best shows on a Sunday, and then 5 days later, you have one of your worst shows? Huh? You want to know what happens when you go all the way across seas and you put a shit show on? Huh?
You're going to have to tell them. You want to
know what happens when you have AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Daniel Bryan in your company? And
Dean Ambrose was backstage and not used.
Not even used, and Drew McIntyre was over there. You know what happens when you have all these guys in the top 10 of the PW Insider best wrestlers of the world? You have Seth Rollins. You have Daniel Bryan.
You have The Miz, who was actually number one last year.
He was number one last year?
He was number one.
Last year he was number one? Mm-hmm. God damn it, I didn't know that.
Miz was up there.
Really? Number one?
If it wasn't him, it was Omega.
Really? I think Miz was number
there.
one.
Miz was a shocking.
I think he was number one the year he won the WWE title.
Oh, he was.
I'm pretty sure he was number one the year he won the title. But you know what happens when you go all the way across seas and you have Seth Rollins in your company, you have Daniel Bryan in your company, you have AJ Styles in your company, Cedric Alexander, Adam Cole, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee. But you know who's the best in the world? You know who the best in the world is, AJ?
Correction. It was Okada that was number one.
Last year?
Last year.
And then Omega was this year.
Yeah. You know what it was? He was on the cover of PWI.
Oh, Miz?
Miz.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice. That makes sense. It was awesome. Yeah, Miz is pretty awesome.
But Miz was number 10, which in the whole world of wrestling, that's still amazing.
And here it is. The Miz, and no knock to him at all, The Miz is the most WWE guy as far as in-ring that you can get.
Yeah,
as far
definitely.
as WWE matches,
he's the model for the way their style of wrestling,
and that's a testament to his character. Any segment Miz is in, he's just awesome. He's just it's not even a pun intended. He really is just even the awful.
So did you actually tell them what happens though?
I just keep getting sidetracked. I'm sorry. I keep getting sidetracked. But do you know what happens? Huh? When you have one of your best shows that you've ever had on a Sunday, and then you go all the way across the world on Friday to have a show that was full of crap and tomfoolery and bald Mike. Do you know what happened on the show? We had WWE titles on a match. We had
Universal titles.
We had Universal titles.
We had tag titles.
We had tag titles. We had all this stuff. And you know who's making their big return? And all of it got pushed to the side. Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is making his return after 8.5 years. And the only thing we can talk about is how bad the pay-per-view is. You know what happens when you do that? You know what happens on WWE and your whole booking crap? You know what happens?
You just made the list!
God damn it, you just made the list. You know what? For the first time ever, 2 times. I don't give a damn. WWE, your entire booking crap. You know what happens?
You just made the list!
2 times. 2 times. 2 times you just made the list. 2! No one makes the list twice. Nobody. I'm done.
Oh, man. Anyways, to start off to start off this night, they just added on Shinsuke versus Rusev.
Which was actually a pretty nice match.
It was a good match. It was quick.
It's not gonna build anything.
But what does it do for Rusev? Nothing. What does it do for Shinsuke? Nothing.
You know what's really funny
No
about this?
storyline came out of this. Nothing built after. Nothing.
Apparently, Shinsuke Nakamura does the King Shaza standing up now. Because, you know what that says to me now? I just don't even care to even do my finish and move the full way now. So just...
Do I know that? What? What? Does it look like I care? Do you care? Tell me, do you care? Do you care? Do you care? Do you care? What?
I don't think anyone really cares about what's going on with Shinsuke. And that's the sad thing. Shinsuke versus Rusev could have been an amazing match. It could have.
Should be.
It should have been built up.
Yep.
You have Rusev constantly coming up. He has all this crowd behind him. You don't use it. You have Shinsuke who got all this heel heat. You're not using it. He has the U.S. title as a fucking prop. You know what? Instead of having that title as a fucking prop, delete the fucking title.
Give it to somebody else.
Or give it to somebody else. Or get rid of it. Because you guys can't manage all these titles at this point.
And it's so easy
Either it's left off the card or it's not on the card at all.
in the U.S. title.
Not in the pre-show. Not in the after show.
It's really
Not
easy.
in the dark match.
John Cena's at the. I mean, he wasn't the first person to do it, but John Cena's at the president with the U.S. with the U.S. title. You do the U.S. Open challenge, and that's
And you know what? And that's a
it's a scapegoat. But still,
way to get stuff done. But it works.
But it works.
And they don't even utilize that as they should.
Yeah, they don't.
So
then after that, what is a match? What is Crown Jewel even open with? Oh, Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton.
it opens with the fact that they want. Okay, listen.
I just remembered how it opened. I just remember.
WWE. What were you thinking?
I just remembered how Crown
You
Jewel really
don't
opened.
go into a controversial pay-per-view where you have all this political aspect behind it just to throw in another controversial topic and you don't even prepare the crowd for it.
But here's where I will argue.
And at this point, we're talking about the return of Hulk Hogan.
But here's where I will argue that. So, right, if you're already shitting somewhere, why are you going to go somewhere else and take another shit? Why don't you just keep shitting the place that you've been shitting?
The smartest thing about that move was the fact that there was so much bullshit behind Crown Jewel even taking place, period, that it kind of masked, or they tried to mask the fact that they brought Hogan back full time, even though his return speech and his apology to the locker room had mixed reviews. You know, the locker room was pretty split behind the decision, but a situation like this, he singled out a race, he singled out a people. They should have announced this a week, 2 weeks prior, let the crowd soak it in, get the backlash out, and then boom, you make a decision whether to go forward or not. They want to shove Hogan down. I could care less about the man,
bro. I don't care.
But his legacy is undeniable.
Absolutely.
Sure, show his past, but you don't need to give him a continued future in the business. He's done. What else can he contribute a match at his age now? No. And if so, do we want to see it? No. Nobody cares.
Nope.
Do you a Hulk Hogan match in 2019, 2018?
You know what,
Vince? No one is asking for this comeback.
Well, they just figured that they might as well. They figured if they were going to ever throw him back into WWE main continuity, that this would be the place that they do it. And hey, so opening match: Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton, which I actually thought was a pretty good match. It was a match. All right, tell them why you mad.
Randy Orton is built as this monster heel, attacking people left and right. He's pretty much stalking people down, and he loses by a quick roll up out of nowhere.
You know what? I'm not mad about that from Rey Mysterio. Because if that's almost a callback to their old route. I don't mind that from Rey Mysterio. Anybody else, and not, I don't mind it from Rey Mysterio, and because honest, I know it sounds weird, but because it is Rey Mysterio. I mean, when I say like a Rey Mysterio, I mean like the scrappy underdog. That's what I mean by like a Rey Mysterio. But the actual wrestler Rey Mysterio, I don't mind that because it's really a callback to some of their old rivals. So that didn't bother me so much. I thought it was one of the better matches of the night, and there really weren't too many good matches on Crown Jewel. So this is actually one of. I remember one particular spot where he came to the top.
The speed of the match, I completely understand,
But
because you want to get the tournament.
Yeah.
You want to pace the tournament correctly.
Uh-huh.
So I get it, but Orton is a dominant force. Unless the storyline comes out between them, and he's attacking Rey Mysterio within this week's SmackDown, and that's the storyline progressing forward. I get it.
It's probably
But
not.
with this Ty Dillinger thing hanging in the distance,
Ty Dillinger really did re-injure himself though. That's
right,
it was a funny joke. That the thing I said on the last
either way,
podcast.
this was the opening, and you know what? This should have this was a precursor for how the rest of the tournament was going to
I
go.
didn't think this match was really bad. Is it going to be match of the year candidate? No, but was it really a bad match? No, I don't think it was really bad. Actually, there's one particular spot where Randy Orton laid this perfect drop kick.
You know what it
from
felt
Rey
like?
Mysterio come off the top rope. He just boom laid it in.
It felt like Randy showed up because of obligation and was like, okay, I'm here. I'm doing the match. Get me in and out.
It was a match. It definitely was a match. Now, what it seems like the story of the night was going to be in a tournament was after the match, after Rey Mysterio wins with the roll-up, Randy attacks him after that. And then he injures Mysterio. That's the story of the tournament. That's the story of every tournament. The scrappy underdog, especially as small as Rey Mysterio is, because WWE loves to use that. The small guy gets injured, and he goes to the tournament injured. That was the story they were supposed to tell, but they didn't. But they didn't. Let's move on to the next match. It was
Next match was
We're gonna find out by
Miz
the end.
versus Jeff Hardy. Now this was an actual good match.
Really.
This was an.
You're gonna say this is a good match.
I
You're
felt
gonna
this
say
was.
Rey Mysterio wasn't running.
Jeff Hardy hit the swanton.
This was a match. This was
a match. This was a match.
A match.
No, this was in my opinion, this was a good match. It ended legit. It ended 1, 2, 3.
This is a by the books match.
Yeah, but a quick roll up on Randy Orton, a veteran.
I don't mind.
I'd rather
It's a tournament.
the Miz and Jeff Hardy actually go through a whole match and have a legit pin in this tournament rather than see Randy Orton get rolled up.
I love Jeff Hardy, but Jeff Hardy is going away for a little bit. He's hurt. He looks like he's hurt. It looks like he's wrestling hurt. He's moving at half speed. And that's just straight up. He's just moving at half speed.
So this one ends with Miz pretty much getting like a sneak.
Nah, he went for a twist of fate. He reversed it into a skull crushing finale.
Yeah, skull crushing finale.
Yeah, and then
It was a decent match. One of the better matches of the tournament, as far as on the SmackDown side. The Raw side of things,
this made absolutely no sense. Okay,
the Raw side of things was actually pretty well.
They've been
the actual matches.
Oh, I forgot. Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley come first. It was a quick match. But, people forget that Bobby Lashley. We're still working. He is the man of the hour. Well, accompanied by the man of the hour, but he's still working hurt though. So that was a
Who's hurt?
Bobby Lashley.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Rumor innuendo says that he has a dislocated shoulder, and he's just working through that. But it was a pretty simple match with him and Rollins. Lashley dominated the entire match, and then at the end, Rollins comes with the stomp. It is what it is.
No,
Kind of sucks.
I felt like
It kind of sucks because it was their first match, and
you know what?
It could have been good.
The way the tournament ended, I would rather see Lashley get eliminated first round. I would have hated to see Lashley be at the end of this tournament and have to deal with the type of
Yeah.
twist.
So
that happened.
What was the next? I'm pretty sure the next match after that was Angle. Was it Angle?
It was Angle versus Dolph Ziggler.
This was okay.
That was the match. That was one of the good matches of the tournament. Dolph Ziggler gave a awesome performance overall.
He did, but that was such a waste of Kurt Angle.
It was.
You do not use Kurt Angle. You do not use Kurt Angle like that. You haven't Kurt Angle build up. You know what? But one thing I will
admittedly, he did look like age was taking a toll. He looked slower than normal, and even when he was doing the spot where Ziggler's running off the ropes, catches him into the trap German suplex, belly to belly suplex. It just the timing. I and you got to give Kurt credit. He's not. It's not like he's wrestling every day, so for him to even put up this type of performance, hats off to him for sure. But either he needs to have more ring time to build towards these kind of events, or it's just.
No, it seems to be smoke and mirror. Just it's smoke and mirror. You just like Paul Heyman always says, you accentuate somebody's strength, you hide their weaknesses. Hence why in Brock Lesnar matches, he just hits you with a bunch of Germans and F5s, and it looks amazing. But really, it's But anywho, we will get to that. But it just, to me, what was the point of building Kurt Angle like that? Like you're wasting. This is Kurt freaking Angle. What are you wasting him for? Well, one thing I do like with this World Cup tournament is how the announcer announced all the wrestlers' accolades. That's awesome. They need to do that in every single championship.
Definitely, because you know what? I didn't even realize almost everyone, if not everyone in that tournament, was a Triple Crown champion. So
pretty much, yeah.
This best in the world gimmick would have been perfect
if they really built
had a legitimate.
If they'd really built it.
End to this tournament.
My problem with calling somebody the best in the world, you're calling somebody the best in the world, but you have a Universal Champion and you have a WWE Champion. That's my kind of also like, so
they're not the best?
Exactly. So
that's why I felt, even before Crown Jewel went on the way, I felt like this should have been King of the Ring.
Yeah,
it would have been the perfect opportunity to bring that tradition back.
So let's keep circling around the toilet. What's the next match?
This time they went on break.
They had it was
from the tournament.
It was a standard match, which I loved. I loved New Day's entrance. A bit long.
Yeah, they came out on the magic carpet
and then playing the
they were honestly they were the only group that really took advantage of like the visuals and just the look
WrestleMania
that
quality stuff
the Saudi money was giving them.
Yeah.
WrestleMania quality props and stuff. It was cool for what it was.
It was a standard match.
Yeah, standard stuff.
Too soon to take the belts off Bar Show. And, Bar Show wins clean.
I don't see Bar Show dropping those titles for a long time. If they even call Bar Show, they're still the Bar.
They don't really know. We called them just Bar Show immediately. And then, they did have to break it up. And then next, I think we got into the second round of the World Cup after this.
No.
What was the next match?
Actually, the next match... Yeah. Miz versus Rey Mysterio.
Oh. This is a good match. This was a good match. It was a match. I'm not gonna say it was a match. It was there.
Well, the story going into this, coming out of this match is Rey Mysterio is really working over Miz's legs. A lot of kicks throughout the entire match.
And Rey Mysterio's abdomen is hurt from his early attacks from Randy Orton. So both of these competitors.
The ending of their match was pretty good. Rey Mysterio hits Miz with the 619. He goes for the last part of it where he jumps off the rope and does the body splash. And he actually hits the knees. Gets rolled up after that. 1, 2, 3. Miz advances. Miz came out of this match looking pretty good.
Looking awesome.
Like he's finally going to get something that he can brag about. Yep. Miz is at the top of his game when he has something to brag about. When he has something to dangle in people's faces.
Yeah.
So this was, at this point, people online, Twitter, IG, they're like getting excited. Match after this was Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins.
And it was a lot of this match can be summed up very easily. Sleeper holds all the way until the last 5 minutes, and a lot of near falls.
They had a lot of side interference with like Drew McIntyre hinting like he's gonna hit Seth. Seth at one point even like, "Come on, do it. Get me disqualified. Get your boy disqualified so I can advance to this final."
Yeah.
To this final.
And then he throws him off the top. He pushed him up top rope, gets up, super kick.
Now,
Ziggler wins clean.
Again, I gotta ask. You have Dean Ambrose in the back in the backstage. He's there, okay. He's there accompanying Mae Young, which the only highlight was they actually had a woman represented through Renee Young the entire pay-per-view commentating.
Yeah.
That's progress.
Yeah,
it's a little progress.
She was 94.5% covered up, but yeah, you know.
I mean, at the end of the day, they have to respect the values of the country. So that I understand.
Yeah,
when they did
That's
the first
different
match in, I believe, India, Sasha Banks and I think Alexa Bliss had the match against each other. They were fully covered from neck down, and Alexa Bliss. I mean, well, both of them actually usually have like the short trunks and the revealing bra thing. So,
but yeah, so this
Dean
match
Ambrose
finishes
is in the back. This match finishes with Dolph Ziggler coming off with the win.
Yeah,
Which is not a problem, but we have this whole Shield story built. This is the baby of Raw right now. This is the only thing that's gonna carry Raw right now, due to what happens later in the night, Crown Jewel. But this feud is carrying Raw, and you're not gonna use it to your advantage. What better to even piss Seth off more than Dean coming down and costing him the best in the world trophy?
Well, that would be good storytelling.
And again,
that would be good storytelling, and why would we do that? So the next match, are we going into the finals? No. Next one we have the WWE Championship match with AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. How do you ruin?
Maybe you don't know where you are right now. So before you huff and you puff and you continue to blow, let me remind you that this is the house that AJ Styles built.
Yeah, but nobody cared. Let's be honest. Nobody knew. Nobody believed that Joe was going to take this belt, and it just sucks.
Nobody believed it, but I actually hope they would give it to us.
No, nothing. No. Listen, the only reason why the Universal belt got changed is because it had to. I would have kept vacant as the champion, to be honest with you.
Me too.
I would have kept vacant. I would have had a non-finish, and just did that Survivor Series. You can, but
we're not even there yet.
We're not there. So then we get. so then we get to. Are we in? No, we get. AJ Styles beats Samoa Joe with a phenomenal forearm. Next match, we're in the Final Cup, right? Because there's nothing else to say about the match. There's just really
it does
nothing
for Joe.
It does nothing to say about that match.
It just keeps AJ, his champion. He's officially gonna make a year.
He's gonna make him year by default. He's like
but
probably gonna make him year by like Monday.
This Joe, with Daniel Bryan dropping out of the match, because originally it was AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE title. Daniel Bryan had his own views on the Crown Jewel and decided not to come along. They ended up having their match at the SmackDown.
And he actually asked WWE to make him lose the match against Miz at Super Show.
That's neither here nor there.
But why wouldn't they just do that?
Just
because
the storyline. As far as Joe,
it is here and there because he told WWE knew that he wasn't going to Crown Jewel at Super Show. So they should have just had him lose that match.
I don't think that they would have really waited this long until to change anything, especially a day, 2-3 days before Crown Jewel. I feel like the guys were committed, but they were probably kept out of the loop whether the date will be pushed back or they were gonna cancel the pay-per-view. And when it came full circle that, hey, yeah, we're having this pay-per-view, some of the guys thought twice about their commitment. That's how it comes off. When Vince needs to make a change, he does that change. He's not going to make himself look stupid. You know, and he does make the necessary decisions. The biggest example of that is like Bret Hart Survivor Series. That was on the fly. If Vince could change something to make his company look better, he would. This booking, these people made commitments. There's no way you're telling me they're gonna continue the promotion, waste the money on marketing Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles if they knew a month, 2 months before. I feel like
they will.
With the
they'll do it.
Crown Jewel was booked months in advance.
They'll do
the
it.
thing that happened with the journalists happened after, and that was unforeseen. But those people were committed to the pay-per-view.
Not even the rumor innuendo. According to Uncle Meltzer, the WWE knew a long time ago that Daniel Bryan was not doing Crown Jewel, and he requested to lose the match against The Miz at Super Showdown to avoid something like this.
And because of a certain dumbass, this storyline falls flat. You just put it back into the trajectory you wanted it. You inserted Joe. You had him attack both Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. After coming off of Joe technically winning the title.
Did we move this? Wait, hold on. But I feel like we're missing a match. Oh, yeah, we are missing a match. That's why. We are missing a match.
Which match?
Oh, we're missing the match. I forgot. It's a squash match. I usually forget squash matches. But the squash match involved Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman.
Oh, but that was after the WWE title, so we didn't get there yet.
They came out right. Yeah, I thought we were done with the WWE title match.
I'm still focusing on the fact that they dropped the ball with the Joe storyline.
Bro,
you reinserted someone.
Been dropped. The ball, he was a replacement.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I moved
replacement or not.
That's
you
why
just came off.
So
you just came off of a good 2-3 month storyline with Joe. 2-3 pay-per-views back to back. This was the time to either crown him or at least have a decent finish that makes him look strong or makes this rivalry continue.
He was a replacement. They don't care.
Just
that's exactly what I said about this match. It was AJ Styles won with a
phenomenal forearm.
AJ Styles won the match with a phenomenal forearm. That's it. Nothing else to say about it. 1, 2, 3. He won.
All right, let's move on.
The next match.
Braun
Strowman versus Brock Lesnar.
I wish this match could be deleted from my mind, from history, from the record books.
Braun Strowman got squashed by Brock Lesnar. I mean, you can say, yeah, because Baron Corbin hit him with the belt at the top of the ring. So let's jump straight into it. Baron Corbin hits Braun Strowman in the head with the belt because Braun Strowman gave him those 3 power slams on Monday Night Raw. Brock Lesnar hits Braun Strowman with 4 F5s. Braun Strowman gets 1 lick of offense. He does an Irish whip into a corner. He boots him off a little bit. He charges at Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar catches Braun Strowman, hits him with the 5th F5, and kicks him. Now, I just want to give you a little after we give you the winner of the Crown Jewel, the best, the World Cup, the best in the world. I'm going to give you a perspective. That match with Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar went under 3 minutes. Just remember that. Now let's move on. Oh, we have a new
move on. This
Universal
is the whole
champion.
See, and everything could have happened the way it happened, but the moment you put Brock Lesnar as champion again, you lost me. I could care less about the rest of the damn pay-per-view at this point, but I still watched. And it got fucking worse.
Well, at this point,
with the move of putting Brock, I understand Roman's situation. They had to put a champ, but you decide to just bury. Braun doesn't come out looking strong out of this. You talking about the guy who flipped ambulances, gets hit in the back of the head 1 time, and allows him to get 5 F5s. No offense, no nothing. You made your roster look stupid. You made Braun Strowman, the strongest person on your roster, look stupid. We just got out of the Brock Lesnar problem. Now we're back into it? Seriously. I cannot emphasize it enough. Vince, you need to reevaluate who your writers are. Your writers do not know your audience. They do not know your audience. They do not know what the fans want. And yes, sometimes you need to not give us what the hell we want. So when we finally get it, we appreciate it and the pop is real. But this is a detriment to everything you've been building up on Raw. This is a detriment to everything that these stars go through. You just smacked every superstar in the back,
And you think this is the worst?
in the face.
It seems like you think this is the worst thing.
This is.
I don't think this is the worst. I don't think this is the
Rock
worst thing
just
happened
held
to
that title for 400 plus days. The worst title reign in history. Nobody was behind it.
Go,
At any point,
go!
at any point of that reign, no one was behind it.
Yeah.
When you have the GM of your top show talking about your champion doesn't defend, it's not worth it, it's a freaking problem. We're going right back to that problem, and this is your storyline 3-4 months ago. Anyways,
So
let's move on.
That's all you can do about it. That's all you can do about it. But you know what? I know I did it twice. But you know what happens when you have the worst Universal Champion of all time? And you know what happens when you have him win it for a second time?
And he's the first 2-time Universal Champion at that. History making. Come
You know what
on.
happens? You know what happens when you make the worst Universal Champion a 2-time Universal Champion? You know what happens? Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, WWE booking. You know what happens?
You just made the list.
God damn it, you just made the list 3 times. I've never put somebody on the list 3 times.
Well, let's break some records. Let's break some records. I usually try to keep the positive and try to see both sides of booking decisions.
Oh yeah, you're at the edge.
I can't.
Well, if you're at the edge, let me push you. So in the finals, no, we can't get to the finals yet. We have to get, so the next match after that, it is heel versus heel, The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler in the finals for the World Cup,
Which
best in the world.
Could have been great.
Those guys
You
had good matches
You
together.
got two Cleveland natives battling for best
Two
in the world.
Clevelanders in the finals and they still lose. Ha! Burn to the Cleveland Browns. Sorry. Oh, go to the third part, bro.
So you have these two guys from Cleveland. They have great matches with each other, and the match doesn't even start.
Oh, the match never. Oh yeah, the match never
The
starts.
match never started.
Oh, because
As soon as they're about to square up, see, at first I thought Miz was feigning an injury, like a leg injury. No. Come to find out, they're trying to sell it like a cramp. They pulled the LeBron James storyline on us. He caught a cramp in the final.
Well, Cleveland. Listen, all 3 parties from Cleveland: Dolph, Miz, LeBron. So he catches a crab. He can't compete in the match. And then
Miz made it believable for me.
He's a good actor.
He's yelling, "I've never been injured. I've never been injured." He's trying to get up. Shane McMahon's on the side. He want to crown, see who's gonna be crowned the best in the world. Give the trophy. Guess on the mic. Oh, it's not gonna end like this. It's not gonna end like this. Well, we have a best in the world tournament with a locker room full of wrestlers. Who the hell can take the Miz's place in the best of the world tournament?
And the way that Shane sold was like, oh, well, somebody's gonna do it. And he just looks around. Is it gonna be me?
I would have rather the fucking ref.
Is it me? Am I gonna do it? Am I gonna do it? Is it gonna be me? Am I gonna be the one that's gonna do it? You know what? I should do it. That's it. I should do it. Me.
I'm putting myself in this match.
I put myself.
The commissioner.
So, Aaron, I usually always go against Michael Cole. Michael Cole says something. He's just like, nobody's gonna say anything about this. Nobody's gonna do anything about it. And I felt him on in my soul. Like, nobody's gonna say anything. Baron Corbin, you're not gonna get in there and say you're not gonna do anything about this.
So you have a tournament full of Triple Crown champions, and you decide to put a glorified European hardcore champion,
European champion, hardcore champion,
Hell in a Cell diver.
Okay, nobody takes bumps like Shane effing McMahon. Okay, and you know what happens when Shane McMahon got in that goddamn ring? The first thing he did, he legitimately punched Dolph Ziggler in the face. You didn't see that spot? He punched him in the face.
It looks horrible.
In the left, he legitimately punched him right in the face.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Shane was so stiff.
Shane looks horrible
because he's too excited.
Shane looks horrible
because he's too excited. That's why. Shane,
I love Shane.
Not for
I
nothing.
respect like his
Shane
Daredevil.
can go.
He can go. But I've never.
He's too excited. Yeah, he's not.
Those stupid punches. It's a gimmick. It's comedy. It's not legit. They build Dolph Ziggler's amateur background.
Because he's a legit wrestler.
You do this.
Yo, honestly, Shane kind of squashed. He kind of squashed Dolph Ziggler.
The ending was pretty much Dolph Ziggler's running towards him on the turnbuckle. Shane moves. Dolph Ziggler smashes his own face on the turnbuckle. Sold the hell out of it. It looked good. Falls down to sitting on the turnbuckle. Coast to coast. 1, 2, 3. The best in the world didn't even earn any round of the tournament. Didn't earn qualifiers to get in the tournament. Isn't even an active wrestler on the roster. He's a part-timer, and he's your commissioner, Shane McMahon.
Not only that, he's been gone for like the last 6 months. I just want to put this in complete perspective for everybody. We are in the WWE universe where we have Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Adam Cole, Aleister Black, Velveteen Dream. I know they're from NXT, and I know I'm mixing NXT and 205 Live.
This
NXT
was the perfect
UK.
time to call somebody up.
Smack all these guys. And the winner of the World Cup, best in the world, is Shane McMahon.
Dumbass! You dumbass! You're a dumbass! Such a dumbass! You're an ass!
This was horrible booking. Horrible booking.
And you know what the worst thing about all this is? You know what the worst thing about all this is? This is the return after 8.5 years of arguably the greatest in-ring performer of all time.
I'm not taking nothing away from Shawn Michaels. His legacy, even him coming back.
And he still looked good.
It is what
despite
it is.
that, Shawn, did he look like
I
Shawn?
personally,
Did he look like Shawn?
By the time I reached the Universal title decision, they lost me. I just kept watching. If I was already knocked out on the ground with this pay-per-view, they put me 6 feet under with the decision of the World Cup.
Good God.
By the time I got to DX versus Brothers of Destruction, I was all out. I didn't even really get to follow the entire match. It was full of botches. It was full of botches as well. Kane's mask slips off.
Are you kidding me?
You know, Triple H got hurt in this match. Legitimately let me tell you something.
He needs surgery.
Triple
coming
H
out
is
of this
a
match.
goddamn soldier. Okay?
Side note, little asterisk, big ups to Triple H. He comes out and on his vest, repping NXT. Had the NXT logo on his vest.
Yeah, the NXT logo.
I just feel like I had to mention that. That's so awesome of him.
Him and Shawn actually did look good together with like the matching like joints. You know what I'm saying? Because Shawn had like the
I just
leather
can't
joint.
get used to bald Michaels.
That's what it is. Honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. If Shawn Michaels would have went in the back and got like a headband like with some hair in it, I wouldn't even care.
Me either.
I wouldn't even care.
It's
the way he sells. When you realize how much the hair means, because the way you sell. It's when you
honestly. And not only that, you know, a lot of people, the hair helps the wrestlers actually communicate.
Yeah,
because it masks their vocalizing to each other.
Oh gosh, I don't even think this was.
They went about 30 minutes.
To be honest,
this was a long match.
I think it went too long, but I don't think it was a bad match. It was exactly what I expected. Shawn does not look old to me. Shawn just looks. He looks a step behind Shawn Michaels, but you know, I don't think it was a bad match, to be honest with you. It's just a shame that, gosh, this pay per view was just pretty shitty, man.
So obviously,
This was
on the Stone Cold 316 rating system.
Pretty shitty.
The lowest of the low, the number one.
Honestly, this pay per view must be. It has to be. It has to be. I mean, good gosh, googly. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. I have nothing else to rant about. I mean, you know, it was Crown Jewel, ladies and gentlemen.
That was Crown Jewel in a nutshell.
Oh, come on, so we can watch.
You know,
so
this
we can
is-
actually see the. So we can actually
this
see the
is,
so we can see some good wrestling. Sorry, we can see some good wrestling. Good gosh.
Now this messed up the landscape of Raw, so now we got to see how this is gonna pan out.
Poor Drew McIntyre.
This got a lot of backlash.
Poor Drew
on
McIntyre.
Twitter, IG, they're doing the hashtag cancel WWE Network thing again, and they put themselves in this position. There's a reason why you're offering a free trial every fucking month, trying to get your subscribers up, because you're losing the subscribers, or they're just sharing their accounts. Because at this point, you can't keep people faithful to your product for 3 months straight.
I haven't had a WWE. I haven't had it since like January.
Cover the mic, bro. Cover the mic. Kayfabe.
Since like January. You're supposed to have. I have New Japan.
Well, that makes sense. It's the elite. Oh, wait.
I don't have WWE.
But it's only $9.99.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, but it's pretty. But when I'll tell you this: when they bring back Bruce Pritchard, then I'll put something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard and Comrade Thompson.
It's the you know what it is.
I fucking love that show.
It's the old content and it's the original content that keeps me subscribed.
I don't blame you. I just don't. I'm done. But you know what? As much as I would love to sit here and talk
about Crown FooL.
I'm done. I'm pretty much done. I want to see this Jericho and Evil match. And
well, guys, we have we'll update you on the full pay-per-view.
We're gonna do Cruise Jericho.
The Cruise Jericho's tonight, so we're actually gonna try to watch that now.
We're gonna do Cruise Jericho.
Definitely
we'll give that its own show. We gave Crown Jewel its own show.
Yeah,
Cruise
we'll definitely
Jericho
keep you up to date on everything wrestling wise on This Week in Wrestling, which will be the next episode coming out after this one.
Yep.
But
as much as I would love to sit here and brag, and there ain't even nothing to brag about, man. I think I said it all, man. We're done. Kenny, take us home.